So I'll be using my Power Fret Slotter to make my fret slots. If you don't buy a pre-made fretboard, you'll find yourself having to cut your fret slots by hand. It's very difficult, very time consuming. I'll show you how it would be done. This is a fret scale ruler, specialist guitar maker's tool, not too expensive. You can use this to mark out the position of the frets. If you didn't have this, then you would have to use a ruler. If you're using a custom scale length, you'd have to work out the positions of all the frets, as I showed you earlier, and mark them out as accurately as you can. I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to mark the first fret for you. I won't mark them all. I'm just going to mark the first one, okay? So let's say we were using this scale length. I would mark it as accurately as possible, and again, all the way down. Having done that, the next thing would be to square it across. You can only do this if your piece of wood is reasonably square. A lot of fretboards are tapered, in which case you would have to draw a centre line, square it across with the drawing square, and then you can set up a bevel gauge alongside and use this to continue marking each fret. Make sure they're all parallel. So there's one fret marked. I'm going to show you how to cut it now. Fretboard needs to be clamped, something to protect it. And then you can just carefully run the saw through. Okay. If you get it running through the slot first, then you can gradually increase the pressure until you're actually cutting. If you struggle to keep it perfectly straight, here's a little trick. Use a block. Line the block up exactly with the line. Clamp it. And then you can use a saw right up against the block like this. I like to use two hands on the saw like this. Gives you the best control. Making the fretboard by hand, what you're actually doing is you're just marking the slots, because we're going to glue the fretboard on square, and afterwards it needs to be radiused. That affects the depth of the fret slot. So the finished depth of the fret slot is about 25% more than the depth of the fret that's going into the slot. So you can also get a fret saw with a depth gauge attached, which will stop you in the right place. You need to remove the block for that. Okay, if the blade sticks, put some wax on the blade and it will run a lot more smoothly. What we do is use a little bit of wax. It's just ordinary beeswax on the blade, and then it will run a lot more smoothly. One fret slot.